Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to ETF2L Season 37 Premiership matchup between KRITZBERG for Defense against New Team. That's their name, New Team. And this is kind of a battle of the bottom teams, but at least one of them have been playing some really tough competition. So I'm very excited to see what's going to go on here. But we've got ArchRhythm on production. I'm Peter, and joining me is Surny. How are you doing, Surny?
Hey, I'm doing good. Having a grand old day. A little tired. I don't know why, because I slept approximately 13 hours last night. But that's just how life is, I suppose.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I can
I'm.
wake up a little bit with this match.
Yeah,
Aha! There you go.
yeah. Like sleep, the way it works is that you need 8 hours of sleep, and if you don't get enough, you get tired, and if you get more than 8 hours, you
Yeah,
also get tired. It's
the
weird,
fickle thing.
indeed. But hey, we've got some updates to keep us on our toes, and we've
Exactly.
got some exciting TF2 action on some pretty interesting maps as well. Of course, going to be Viaduct and is it Snakewater?
It's
Or
Gully Wash,
Gollywash?
I believe.
Oh,
It's Gully
Gollywash,
Wash.
right? Good.
So some very interesting, very different maps. Obviously, product is the one that people are always a little excited about because it's different. And it's the only map that we've ever decided or deemed interesting enough to not be 5CP and still play. Um, so there's that. But yeah, let's talk about the teams real quick as they're getting ready, because God knows when they're going to start. We're already behind schedule. Naturally, both of these teams rather evenly matched. We have KRITZBERG for defense, the almost completely Polish team, with Graba on the mid, Stan on the demo, Wanzu and Bonkers on the soldiers, and Paparazzi and Beavern on the scout class.
Yeah, glorious return of Beavern. It's going to be very interesting to see just how rusty he is. His aim has always been really good. He has a ton of experience, but rust is a very real thing, and usually it takes a couple of seasons for these old timers to really get into gear. But hey, maybe he's got it still. And then the rest of them are just basically this super team of Polish players that have just been playing together forever. The only one I don't really recognize is like Paparazzi and Stan. And Paparazzi I've definitely seen around more lately, and then Stan I just have like no idea who he is. But I mean, he's been fragging out. Look at him, like
Yeah.
311 DPM. That's very good.
And going up against them, as you've mentioned, the new team, which they've had a rough patch this season so far, going up against arguably the best two teams in the first 2 weeks. They're going to try to have to prove themselves here, get some points on the board finally. We're going to have Unikiko and Flick on the scouts, Scar and Charlie on the soldiers, QB on demo, and Pache on the medic class. So again, a very big mix of a team there, but also a lot of familiar faces over the past few seasons.
Yeah, it's probably the team that you would favor just going from a DM perspective. I kind of favor them to get into the playoffs over Bus Crew. That might be a bit of a hot take, but I think that's kind of where they're at least. Like they're fighting for a playoff spot. I think they're slightly better than the bottom three teams.
If there's a team to really upset that playoffs race for at least the Bus Crew, or maybe even another team like say Feint, it could be New Team. Definitely, there's a chance there that they have to throw a wrench into that and make a difference there, because obviously they weren't gonna upset Ascent or Swift much, but it's not to be expected necessarily. Either way, if we do have the time before these gamers get started, which I don't think we necessarily have, but we might be able to look at some head-to-heads because we finally got working stats after 3 weeks. That's nice.
Yeah, like this is like basically 2 weeks of worth of stats. So definitely take them with a grain of salt. Like one, you might have slightly higher DPM or lower DPM than you would normally have, and yeah, just don't read too far into it. But I'm guessing they're on screen now. I can't actually tell, but
It's the demos right now.
yeah, all right, okay. So Stan versus QB. So the first thing that I notice obviously is the damage per minute, which is just really, really high on Stan. It's 311 to 269. So it's like just obviously really strong performance coming out from Stan so far. And Viaduct is a very strong demo man map. So usually demo men have a huge like say in what's gonna happen on this map. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what Stan's gonna bring to this because I don't really know him that much. And whereas QB has been around for a little longer, like I at least know about him and have seen him. Just
Yeah.
to kind of like his playstyle, to be honest.
Something to also look at in these stats is obviously they're going to be a little bit skewed on the worst side for QB and anybody on his team, simply because they've had two very rough weeks, right? Going up against the best two teams, your stats are going to look
Yeah.
a little worse overall, simply because you're getting you're getting screwed over by the fact that you're just up against opponents that are significantly better than you. So naturally, in this head-to-head, for instance, KRITZBERG having already taken some points against Alvin and putting up a decent fight against Feint as well, it's gonna look very different in the direct comparison. But I'm certain he's also gonna be able to put up a fight. But as you say, Stan, the man is rising like a comet very quickly.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for demo men that just go huge, and I hope I can see a lot of that out of either of these players.
yeah, I definitely expect so. And I think we should actually move on to the medics here as we finish up
Yeah.
the thought on these demo men. But I, I really think that we're going to see a lot of stuff out of these guys, the demo men. But whereas Grava and Jorge, that's going to be very exciting as well. Medic is probably like more than on any other map. Medic is the most important class on Viaduct. Like everything just comes down to the Uber percentage, to
Mhm.
like a very extreme degree. On other maps, you can kind of like run around them and use man advantage, that kind of stuff. Whereas on Viaduct, like Uber advantage is just so important compared to everything else in the game. So these guys, they have a lot of pressure on them. Like they're just going to be like four flying monkeys in the air, just like trying to spoon you and kill you and everything. And it's just so difficult as a medic to stay
Yeah.
alive. But
And as you said, it makes such a huge difference because you have so little time, right? If you completely lose an Uber, like say your medic drops, you have lost like a third of the time in the round that you have available, like or even more, like half the time you could possibly have available. Because even if you build fast, it takes like 1.5 minutes to build an Uber, right? Maybe if you build really fast, in a minute at least, and that's time that you're just losing out on if the enemy has the point. And on King of the Hill, you really can't afford to let them tick down too much time because that's when it gets hard for you. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a very important role to take here. As we look at these stats, they're pretty evenly matched overall, especially when you consider that, again, Jorge probably had the tougher season so far. Um, Overall, he's not doing too bad.
yeah, I really like Jorge as a medic. He always impresses me. He he has really good DM. He has very good movement, and he has good like decision making. So he's kind of like the whole package to me, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see just how aggressively he plays it, because you can't just run out with a scout like you could before, not to the same degree at least when you do suicide waves, because you kind of want to have your medic in there when you start a suicide wave, and then you jump everyone else in with a full buff, and then you run back out with a scout. And we've done that before. You could run at scout speed as a medic, but it's a little more risky. So definitely pay attention to that. And then Graba, he played in Prem back when I played in Prem, and he
Yeah.
has improved tremendously since then. So very interesting to see what kind of experience he brings to the table. It's always a good time with Graba. At least he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, right. So if you're gonna have to put numbers onto this first map of product, who do you think is going to take home the 3 points for this map?
I think it's going to be a new team. I think they are just a small notch above everyone else, below them here in KRITZBERG. What about you?
I'm gonna have to second you on that one. It might be a close match, but ultimately I do think new team will come out on top. We're gonna have to see though. KRITZBERG have that Polish synergy for the most part. Either way, we're gonna be headed off into our first round here as the teams make themselves to the point, and we have soldiers jumping in immediately, but nobody actually really dying yet. It's just a bit of damage being exchanged. Teams looking at each other. Paparazzi is going to be the first player to actually die. Ones is going to follow in behind, so it's looking good for new team right now. They've got these KRITZBERG players scattered. They're also going to kill Bonkers, so that's going to be a decisive take for new team. And KRITZBERG are going to have to back out, but at least they kept their medic and, some players alive, so it's going to be a swift re-aggression, I'd had to imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. They basically both took one side each, but the new team, they stayed together much more. There was much more cohesion, so basically half of the team just got crushed from KRITZBERG, and now they kind of left with that man disadvantage, and they had to give up the point. But it's even Ubers. This is a very precarious situation always, because you don't want to pop too early, but you also don't want to like lose players before you pop it. So this is the dance that you have to do, just walking a tightrope of dealing out damage without popping without reason. So they're trying to put some pressure onto the point, but so far they haven't really made that decisive move.
Yeah, they're staying really passive here, both teams for that matter. Scar's actually gonna bump in and trade with Bonkers, so a player down on each side here ultimately. What will it amount to? Looks like not much, as, you know, KRITZBERG is getting a lot of cap time. They're going to bait the Uber out of New Team, responding with their own, staring each other down for a while here, as Wansu almost gets killed and dropped on the sidelines. So ultimately the exchange accomplished next to nothing except for delaying the cap a little longer. But there's so much cap time on it. If these KRITZBERG players just step on it for a while, they can easily edge that out. As Charlie bombs in behind and Stan and Wanzu both get taken down. It's not looking like it's going to happen, though.
Right now, so I think he really wants to. You can see he's just getting pre-fired right now. So okay, he's gonna just get completely mulched there. He's not doing anything, and no one's coming in from the front either. So a lot of pressure on the point, but just not quite enough presence there to really get on. And now finally they have two scouts. You're gonna get the capture for the first time, but they lost a lot of time there trying to do that. That was a struggle, Surny.
That was a very struggling fight, and they're gonna send in more players. Bonkers and Beaver both running and trying to get onto Jorge here, and ultimately not amounting to much, so they really wanted to bank on maybe getting that Uber ad. Ultimately, it didn't quite go in their favor. Now they're gonna have to give up the point without putting much of a fight up, really. One's is gonna try to bump in a little bit, but yeah, Stan's gonna die right before the Uber goes out, and that's going to be very rough for KRITZBERG.
They haven't even forced it yet. Jorge's just holding on to it, and QB didn't die either. Like, I thought it was maybe one of those situations where he's just gonna like let QB die and hold on to the Uber, but no, they got everything they wanted. They got the Uber out of them, and then they held on to their own Uber and didn't lose anyone. So just really, really commanding play right now coming up from New Team. Definitely living up to all the little hype we managed to give them here. And they're just holding on to this. About 50 seconds left. We see this very strong position on the left side from Bonkers going in behind.
Beaver's going to try to follow him up, and Bonsu as well. They're really going deep here onto grass, but they're not really finding much at all. They do get Scar and Uni, as well as now Charlie, but ultimately, you know, the combo is still alive, and they have the Uber. Graba has still got no Uber of his own, and they're going to use that Uber just to protect the point as well, chase out all these players.
Wow.
They really go deep for Graba there, and Gupstan as well. So that's going to be a very good Uber used for a New Team, and they're just going to hold on to this point. Once he's going to try to maybe do a little bit of damage, he's going to immediately have to run away again. Nobody can really contest at all for KRITZBERG, and with 10 seconds left, nobody might even get there in that time before,
it's going to be so ugly, man. There's a little time on it, so they do have a little bit of time, but they're not going to be able to get a proper buff in. But they're going regardless here. But yeah,
they got a couple of kills, but it wasn't enough to get onto the point, unfortunately. But that's a clean first round, really, for New Team.
Yeah, it was a very short amount of time that they actually lost the point there. I feel like Jorge didn't die. He probably died like once, but it was not very much. He just stayed alive, healed constantly, made sure to Uber at the right time, and then even QB there at the very end just fragging out, just chasing down the medic, perfectly killing him, and then coming back down there. So 1-0 here for New Team.
Let's see how KRITZBERG can try to pull it back, or what this will go like. Clarix falling either way. Graba going down early means no heals here for KRITZBERG. Obviously, Jorge is going to feel a lot of pressure, and he's going to get taken down as well. And the players are actually in advantage of KRITZBERG here, with only Charlie alive for New Team. Going to try to draw some fire back, but ultimately he's just jumping around until his inevitable demise as 4 players will try to get him. He does get Wanzu. Ooh, misses the shot on Bonkers, unfortunately, but still gets him.
He gets the kill, but it didn't look cool though, Surny. It didn't look cool.
Unfortunately, it did not quite look cool. KRITZBERG will take the first cap here, so they're going to have the timer counting down, and they're also going to have a very slight Uber ad to speak of. But New Team, they're already coming in back with a lot of aggression. 2 players taken down immediately, including Stan, so no demo damage for KRITZBERG, and that's going to force them to just get out of there immediately. New Team retaking that point very, very cleanly, almost for free, essentially.
Yeah, the aggression is so good, and they're kind of doing it without sending in their soldiers behind. You know, Bonkers and Wanju, they keep jumping in behind here, but Charlie and Scar, they just kind of stay with their team, and they just kind of jump in a little bit to create some space, but they don't overextend or go like super deep. They're just kind of hanging out and dishing out damage with their team, and they just kind of end up being this blob of damage that just slowly edge out any fight that they take.
And it's working well for them thus far. As we see Wanzu jump in again onto Cliff, but he's just going to get spammed. Actually, he's going to get onto Jorge and force him out, so that's going to be a good force for him. But Bonkers is so low as well, so he's out of the fight for the time being. The exchange now happens with Graba finally using his own Uber. They don't accomplish much with it and actually lose him at the tail end of it, as well as Stan and both of their scouts. So again, New Team are just holding on with an iron fist, not letting this point go whatsoever. It's only the
Yeah.
soldiers up right now for KRITZBERG, and QB is gonna kill one of them.
It's just beautiful timing coming in from the soldiers. You just jump in at the perfect time and then just make sure that no medics or anyone else can really escape. And you can just really see how Graba was unable to get out in time. And it's just so much more perilous to push as a medic now with this lack of scout speed. But, you know, Bonkers, he's going to get completely denied here. So is Wonshu, and I think this fight is just over, man.
It already is, yeah.
Headshot,
There's standard as well, and there goes Graba. Flick on a 5-kill streak already. It's KRITZBERG are gonna have to try to recollect themselves here. They still have a minute 20 seconds on the timer, so it's definitely enough time to get another Uber going if they're fast and, you know, re-aggress onto the point here. But just throwing themselves at Jorge at this point is probably not going to work all that well.
Nah, this has to
Maybe.
be a suicide wave, right? That just seems to make sense to me. Like, Graba is in pretty deep, but I expect at some point everyone's just going to fly forward here.
No?
Bonker's going to be the first one, but no, this is going to pop.
Yeah, they're just gonna pop off the Uber and chase in as deep as they can. God knows
Charlie
what was
just got
going on with that.
molted, man. He just got sent in the sky. I think he got, like, the sink for the sticky and a pipe, and he just, like, killed himself on a wall. It was pretty funny. But, yeah. Actually, it worked out pretty well for them. They got the Uber force out. In the fight, and the Graba managed to get out alive, and they actually did decently well, and now Jorge is down.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance to hang on here, actually. With Paparazzi even picking up another kill of his own, they're able to
It's
get some
crits
cap
as
time
well.
going as well. Ooh, interesting. We will maybe see a crits play out of this. If they can get this crit streak up soon enough, they can definitely deny at least one Uber push here before Jorge can get his Uber up. And as far as I'm aware, New Team are probably not aware that this is a crit streak that they could be facing here. So if Scar can hit those,
Can't
pipes,
save
I was about to say.
yourself with a crit streak. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There was just a suicide wave there from New Team, and they got the medic, and unfortunately you can't save yourself with a crit streak, so that's going to be a drop in the logs. Very unfortunate there, and no crit streak to help them hold on to this point. And if it gets capped out, it's going to be very difficult for them to get it back. They only have 15 seconds to do it. Scout hiding in the house somehow stays alive, but not for long. Paparazzi goes down. He was trying to be sneaky, but as it is, he's just a pick.
And yep, that's going to be a lot of New Team players immediately flooding the point. They know that if they cap this, they probably already win the round. They're going to have to use their Uber due to Bonkers bombing in there, but it's just going to allow them to pick up these players even easier. Stan is just so far forward. He's trying to make something happen. He hits a nice little sticky kill onto Flick, but ultimately gets murdered by 2 soldiers. Scar is still in as well. Gets a nice rocket onto Graba. Not the kill yet, though. He's going to have to lend that one out to his teammate, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be another close round so far. Maybe KRITZBERG can hang on here and get another cap out of it, but they're going to have to hold on to it for 1.5 minutes too. So they're really going to have to pull a miracle out of their hat here if they want to hold on to this one for even longer. So far, so good, I would say.
Yeah, Jorge survives there while retreating, and that was really important. And now everyone's just going to come in there with these good spawns that you get once you don't control the point anymore. And they know they just need to cap it once. That's it. And they have this Uber almost ready to go, and they're just going to plow in here and try to cap it as fast as possible.
Yeah, use the Uber immediately, pressure out all these players. You don't even have to kill them as long as you just get players capping. You can deny them completely, and Bonkers is going to try to jump in to be the first one to contest here. He's going to pick up well, a little bit of damage, but ultimately they're actually getting some kills. Both Scouts and Charlie dead, but it's only Graba and Paparazzi, so if they can hang on to this for longer, if he can hit his shots, he's going to pick up QB. Graba's going to try to get some arrows in as well. But this is a 1v1 that you would think would favor Scar, and with the respawners coming in as well, they're going to clear these players off the point. Eventually, they're buying us so much time right now, the KRITZBERG team, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. There's too many respawners from New Team, and they're going to take the second round as well.
It was a valiant effort there, but eventually just the push was too strong. It was very, very scrappy for a long time there, but I've been really impressed with the focus fire coming out from New Team soldiers. They are just really, really shooting at the same targets all the time, and they're getting all of these really nice kills with this well-timed aggression, so very impressed by them so far. So sure, like, Flick is just cleaning up everything, but he's doing it off of the back of these soldiers right now.
Absolutely. We also have a sniper coming out of Paparazzi. Immediately gets bombed down by Scar and the first fight here. But they do pick up QB and Flick on the side of New Team. So Graba's going to go down to Scar though as well. Scar just picking up a lot of crucial kills right there. So that's no heals for them. At least they've equalized their Uber disad as they lost Jorge
Oh, is
as well.
Beaver gonna get the 6 kill? No. That's a
No.
shame. Big mid from him though, 5k, very nice. And yeah, rolling out with sniper kind of worked, despite them losing the sniper almost immediately. I want to say he was the first person to die, but just the fact that they kind of had to bend them a little bit out of shape, their new team, they had to send in a soldier to do it. Maybe that's what it needs to happen here, just to get that sniper pressure to make them split up a little bit so they can't be this blob.
Yeah, if you can hit these shots now as well, it's going to be a very big difference maker. He's going to get picked up again. Scar's got his number right now. He's really not letting Paparazzi do any work on that sniper, but eventually you're always dedicating a soldier to just the sniper, and he's always going to be behind, so he's going to get cleaned up easily like that. And KRITZBERG hang on to the point pretty decisively, essentially only sacking the sniper for it. So yeah, it's working out for them so far, even if Paparazzi's not really hitting any shots at all, or is not even getting the opportunity to. It's working out well enough for him as a new team now.
It just forces them to be so aggressive with their soldiers, which they haven't been so far. So now the soldier's going to have slightly less impact. Soldier comes in again onto the sniper. This time around, he's not going to kill him immediately. But again, they kind of been split up, and they got the Uber out of it. And Jorge, he's safe so far, and he's about to have his own Uber right now. Soldier have been cleaned up behind, but now Juno is in behind there. Very annoying stuff. But I think the fact that QB just died means that they're not going to be able to do much. And there we go. Once you, I think Juno just killed himself with bleed damage.
He did. Yeah, I think he did.
Oh wait, Wonshu's actually in scout. Never mind.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, that explains it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they're going 2 scouts and a sniper. So yeah, they switched the guy off soldier. That's pretty common.
That is a very common strategy and a very smart one as well. Let's see if he can pull his weight. As the Uber now comes out of Jorge, they're going to force these players off the point, but they only really pick up Beaver, and they're going to actually lose QB. And a nice section by Paparazzi onto Scar, air shot onto Charlie as well. These players are starting to get warmed up, it seems. KRITZBERG are finally getting some frags. Uni is on 1 HP, is still pistoling down. Stan finally gets taken care of. So, whilst they do take the point, new team will not hang on to it for very long. KRITZBERG are here to stay in this round. It feels like they finally found their way into it, and all they needed was the sniper gimmick.
Yeah, sniper is a very impactful class on this map. I don't think I'm breaking any news by calling that out. But we might just see Juno at some point switch to sniper as well. He's a very good one. But here comes this Uber. We're going to try and see if they can move forward and get this the medic, but it's not even close. It's just Wonshu completely alone. He's going to die for sure. There we go. Thank you for not letting me look stupid, but oh no, medic's just alone. He's gonna end up getting popped there. Beaver's just kind of like beefing, but yeah, he got the job done.
Yeah, that's gonna be good enough to at least force out the Uber, and while the cap still hasn't happened, that's time taking down in their favor as Graba stays alive here, hangs on, even with 2 people chasing him into the spawn. He's gonna have an equal Uber to work with here, so at the very least, Paparazzi's still in, he's hitting some shots. He's peeking forward, he's denying these sidelines, forcing these new team players to either completely rush him down or stay very passive, which gives his team a lot more room to work with.
Yeah, Sniper's not quite as powerful on offense as it is on defense, because you know, he kind of has to work his way in there. You can just sort of stay back forever if you really want to. Soldier's going to jump in now, get him down immediately. So these soldiers, they have been very good at getting the sniper. Now they're going to get the medic as well. The aggression so well, just working right now. Beaven just desperately trying to dodge everything, but oh, look at what Juno is. He is way forward, hiding in the corner. They haven't spotted him. This is so sneaky. Just look at him.
Oh my god, he's actually going to get onto Graba again, but is he going to get the last meat shot he needs? Unfortunately not.
That was close though. That's a very good try.
Well, well.
Yeah,
Paparazzi's still on the sniper as well.
Unnecessary, you could say, but I mean, when you get the chance, you should. And
yeah.
Oh, they spot the medic and they just immediately Uber on him.
Oh, he's in such a bad spot. He surfs it again, but Craters, unfortunately. The double surf, my lord. He couldn't do it though. Meanwhile, Stan is just in. And he manages to pick up Jorge. Alright, fair enough. He accomplished his job, I suppose.
Yeah, just some prolers right there. Get the job done. You know, that's just Demo Man in a nutshell. You just keep missing until you hit him. Just by a factor of, you know, all the splash going on. But yeah, now they have a really good chance here from KRITZBERG to come in, get this recap out. There's a soldier on this left side, and he's just being really annoying here as he just takes him down. Now he's going to try and jump in onto the medic. There's a scout in the works there, so he's going to deny him, but this pressure coming out from new team is just so strong.
They're just all over the place, just completely focusing down people. Wanzu's down first, but they lose QB and Charlie. Picking up Paparazzi and Stando is gonna allow them to stay in this match for a little bit longer. And they have a minute on their own timer. All KRITZBERG has to do here is cap out the point though, and with Graba already on almost 80% Uber here, it's gonna be looking very easy for them to at least get into this point, while New Team desperately try to make up the difference and build their own Uber.
Yeah,
It's
they
gonna
need
be
to
a very
get
interesting last
close.
hold.
Yeah, they need to get very close very quickly here, otherwise they're not going to have this Uber advantage. Hoyer's on 90%, and he's going to get pumped. Oh my god, just gets destroyed. Perfect timing right now, and they're just going to cap this out. I don't think there's any doubt about the result of this fight. It's just
Both
going to
scouts
be
are still
cleaning
in.
up.
Okay, Uni gets taken down, Flick does as well. Okay, they managed to cap out that point. Beautiful round, beautiful response there by KRITZBERG. Swapping around. Paparazzi with a huge bomb there as well at the end to really pick up, you know, the medic, making sure that they can't get their own Uber onto New Team. Very nicely done. Dude, getting back into this game. They're getting back into it.
Yeah, he's going to get to play everything. Scout, Sniper, and Soldier there. I think they were just kind of set up already. So, yeah, very interesting, beautiful timing, and now maybe this is the time to make a comeback for them.
Yeah, let's see if they can do it here. They're just continuing to stick with the sniper as Scar bombs in again. Bonkers was even trying to protect his friend there. Unfortunately, it is not enough, but maybe that distraction is just enough as Beavern is onto the med already. He's not hitting the damage he needs to though, but he's also not really getting damaged himself. It took very long to take him down. He did a lot of pressuring there. And Bonkers is still alive, albeit very low, so he's not going to be chasing that damage, unfortunately.
The Sniper against two soldiers right now, which is a pretty difficult situation because you don't want to leave your medic, but you also can't just sit back forever. So it's actually a pretty difficult situation going on right now for New Team. There we go. Once the scouts come back in, they're just going to jump this Sniper, but somehow these stairs have just saved him from all the rockets in the world. But oh no, this Uber gets Graba.
That's a pretty good Uber on product, if I do say so myself, and it's going to be enough for them to obviously take the point finally, actually. Nobody's capped it yet. I was surprised that it took that long. Yeah, it's going to be on KRITZBERG here to make a move now. Get their Uber up again. It's not too far behind, so we could see an even exchange here depending on how New Team defend. And Paparazzi still on the sniper, gets a headshot onto Uni, gets bombed by Scar immediately. And Charlie as well, actually. They're both just trying to focus him down. They decide to settle for the scouts instead. Maybe. Yeah, okay, they do pick them up, but...
Yeah, QB's actually just cleaning up, just lobbing those stickies long range, just actually cleaning up, getting the kills in there. But very crucially, Graba didn't die during all of that, so he didn't heal as much. So
yeah,
I guess he was just so pressured that he had to spend all his time dodging and like jumping around corners and staying behind walls. So he actually has a pretty significant Uber disadvantage, and oh, this poor soldier is getting floated. Poor Bonkers, man. But the follow sort of does get the force out.
Yeah, at least they're gonna be able to force out New Team here. Make sure that Uber is out of the equation and their own one. They're gonna hang on to it as Graba is nowhere near any sort of danger. They're gonna get their own and they're gonna try to, well, have to break this forward hold somehow that New Team seems to be trying to assemble. They have like 3 other players back because Paparazzi is still in behind, and they're definitely looking out for him as they build their own Uber. And QB's gonna actually get taken down as Paparazzi's now aggressing some damage of his own. So yeah, KRITZBERG are just gonna be able to take this point for free.
Yeah, they broke through that so well. I haven't really mentioned it so far, but Stan's been on the Quickie Bomb launcher for basically the entire match, and that was just so good for breaking that forward hold from the demo man on one side. You know, it's just one sticky, all sticky. Stickies from Red are just gone, and then you can just flood through, and he even jumped the demo man, hit a nice pipe. So QB not able to get out alive here, and then they just cap out the point immediately.
And it looks like they're going to be trying to hold onto it for a little bit longer as well. Both teams having their Uber now means obviously Graba is going to have to use this when he gets bombed like that by Charlie. It's a very, very early Uber use. Hoppe has the slightly better one, and it's going to be enough to pressure out the KRITZBERG players for a while. But they actually managed to pick up Uni as the first kill here. Bonkers is also in onto QB. He's on the point now, unfortunately going to get not killed. Wow, he actually hangs on. I'm surprised. Flick and Scar are both going to get cleaned up as well, so KRITZBERG again taking the point back immediately, so they're hanging on.
They really turned this around. They were just getting dominated in the first 2 rounds, but just all of a sudden they seem to just have a much better idea of what's going on here. As long as they can avoid getting their medic caught in an Uber advantage situation, they're doing pretty well. Graba has struggled quite a bit with these Uber and staying in good position. Soda has jumped in behind now, and this is going to be a big problem for them, I think.
Unless they focus him down quickly enough, which they're taking their sweet time, but they do manage to kill Charlie early enough before he really does any damage as they send in their own soldiers to get onto Hoche. Not gonna be able to clean him up either, though, and that's a drop from Graba that I just heard right there. Scar with a huge bomb, and the Minecraft kill onto Stan as
Oh
well.
my god, and
It's
bonkers
gonna
as
get.
well.
That's a spree for the highlight video for real.
Yeah, I think so. That was, I don't know if that was a 3 or 4K, but that was very, very clutch. It was not a good situation. Warrior was like desperately dodging and trying to arrow everyone so they couldn't die. He was like halfway successful there. He stayed alive, probably the most important thing. So now Ubers are actually even, and we see new team in control of the point. We could see a suicide wave coming in here, but it looks like it's just going to be a normal push. As the sword just jumps in and actually takes down Stan. He thought he was safe behind lines, but he was not.
That's no demo for KRITZBERG, so they're going to be lacking a lot of damage here across the point, as Bonkers is also in behind and dead. Paparazzi going to try to do some damage, but that's not going to happen. Just the scouts and Graba here. It's going to actually just, yeah, they're just going to be forced to back out.
Now onto the point. It's still pretty even here in time. Graba is a slight disadvantage, so if he shows his face too much, he's just going to get jumped and killed. You can see he's just kind of baiting them to try and go forward right now, but currently new team, they're holding very passively, and they're getting ready for this pushing here. They just want to block it, but they want to Uber as soon as, or as late as possible, and look at that, both scouts just running into a sticky trap. That is not what you want to see.
Especially not if you're trying to cap out the round with only 20 seconds left. They're really, really throwing everything they have at this, but it looks like they're just going to have to bite the bullet and Uber in, and that's exactly what they're doing. Stan gets struggled a little bit as well. The Uber comes out of new team, and the soldiers go in behind, but it's just a very messy exchange for the time being. Paparazzi is going to be the first player to get taken down. Beaver's going to respond with a kill onto Scar. Hubie's going to get taken down, so that's a demo down for them, but everybody's already dead on KRITZBERG. It's only Graba, and he's not going to be able to cap out that by himself, so this... Unless Paparazzi can get onto the point and buy enough time
Jump,
here.
Paparazzi! Oh, he missed the jump. This is so
No,
embarrassing.
no.
I mean, he's not going to do it anyway, but we get to make fun of him, right? Yeah.
So that's
3-1.
that. That's a map of product going the way of new team, as we anticipated.
We got a bit of a hitch there with 2 rounds not looking too good for new team. Like, they obviously lost the round, and then they struggled pretty heavily here in the last one as well. So KRITZBERG definitely putting up a fight here. Not just going to roll over. I thought it was going to be really bad when they just immediately went down 2-0, and it was not close at all. But yeah, they managed to come back with some really good play, really good use of their Ubers a couple of times, and just making sure to just mix it up a little bit. They kind of had way more success when they switched to 1 sniper, 2 scouts, and then they sort of switched off of it again later on. Paparazzi was playing scout to begin with, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Yeah, but and now he's on soldier. So they kind of just ended up switching that. So I know as a guy who collects stats along with JMax Chill, we don't like this because what the hell do we classify him as? Very often we just end up like discarding the Viaduct stats because they just play the wrong classes, you know.
Yeah. Well, it went as expected, really, for the most part, I would argue. But yeah, decent play put up by KRITZBERG there for the second rounds. I feel like they really found their footing like the third round and onwards. It felt like they needed a while to get warmed up. We can look at some numbers to see if they reflect that as well. And immediately, what sticks out to me is that new team definitely looks more dominant.
Yeah, for sure. Stan once again having really impressive damage, so he's keeping that up. Might not have been a fluke in
but
those
QB
first 2
is
rounds.
close behind, so
Yeah.
both demos having good games in this one, really.
Yeah, I'm actually most impressed by Scar and Charlie's stats, to be honest. Like, they were playing really well, and it's pretty rare to see soldiers sort of dominate a map like Viaduct in that fashion. And, you know, like, you see Juno and Flick, they're not really up there in terms of damage with scouts usually are. You can kind of see. I think Juno had the least amount of points on his team, somehow. But you know, you can see he was actually doing a lot of damage. He almost had 300 DPM, so that's not a bad stat line. And then Flick, pretty low damage, but he got all the kills. He was just cleaning up, playing his role to perfection. So you can't really complain about that.
Yeah. And I mean, you get the absolute mess that is the KRITZBERG stats because of the class switching. But still, you know, decent, I suppose. It is interesting to me how Graba has died 14 times.
Yeah, I think that's the telling stat right there.
Yeah, that probably is. My lord, I mean, a bit more on the losing side, okay, but he died more than twice as much as Hohe. That is telling. But he also got 2 kills, though. Can't discredit that, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a drop. Was that a crits drop? It was,
There was
right?
one crit drop in there, definitely.
Yeah, not much you can do about that. It almost shouldn't count as a drop. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. But hey, it's the tyranny of the logs. I guess we need to use our brain a little bit, which is annoying.
Oh. No.
And then healing per minute, we had exactly 1,111 heals per minute,
You'd
which is
love to see it.
beautiful.
You'd
This is
love to
just,
see it.
yeah, that wasn't important. That was just beautiful. So we had to mention it.
Right. If you are KRITZBERG here, after a rather dominating defeat still, taking your time to find a footing, but a rather dominating defeat on a product, how do you head into Gully Wash, which is a completely different map?
I think the first thing I would note is that as soon as you mixed it up, you actually started seeing some success. So, the sniper in itself wasn't that successful. It just got bombed immediately, right? But it was just as soon as you managed to sort of break up the cohesion of New Team, they actually struggled quite a bit and they weren't nearly as effective, even if the soldiers were technically doing what they were supposed to do, which was to shut down the sniper. So I think you can already say that this is a team that really thrives in a situation where they are in control and they can just keep together and take these very cohesive fights and stick together. So I think you want to sort of try and spread them out. And you can do that by jumping soldiers behind. That is possible in Gollywas mid. You can go up to a drop down, or you can go into big door if you just wait a little bit so the people aren't actually standing there in the beginning. So that's a way to do it. You can obviously send scouts in behind in big door, and that could kind of stretch out a team as well. And you can do weird stuff like play with snipers and spies and whatnot, just to mix things up. So that's the first thing I would do.
Create chaos.
Yeah, create chaos, mix things up, try to take fights that are sort of spread out. It's not like that worked every time, but I think it worked more than it than any other tactic.
I think it's really because as we've seen as well, like the focus fire seems to just be a lot better on New Team. They have way better focusing for the targets, especially like among the two soldiers. It's like they have one shared brain. They always know where to go, what to look for at every given moment. At least on product, they were very, very cohesive. So if you can somehow separate them or just throw a wrench into it, it can definitely give KRITZBERG the upper hand here. And actually, Gully Wash is a map that plays so differently from King of the Hill. You can just completely just say, okay, well, maybe it's not our map. Even if they did take it against Alvin last week, that doesn't necessarily mean, well, maybe it's just not their best map. Maybe you haven't seen them play on Gully Wash yet. Maybe it's the best map that they can play on. Maybe they're just their home turf,
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that Ska and Charlie had really good games, and if there's any class you can really shut down, like Soldier is the one, right? Like you can really bully soldiers if you put your mind to it. So if you just have your demo man like focus the soldiers so they can't like jump around as well, and just make sure your scouts focus soldiers before everyone else, you can really try and shut down those soldiers. And like you might want to try and bait the soldiers to jump you and then focus them really hard, or you might just try to sort of slowly focus soldiers first in a fight, which is normally what you do anyway, but just even more than normal. Like if there's a scout standing in front of you and there's a soldier behind him, just shoot the soldier, just to try and get those out of the fight immediately, so they can't just come in with the timing and to clean you up once the fight is beginning to near its end. So there's definitely ways to go about it, and it's not like it was a complete stomping where I would be like completely baffled to see KRITZBERG come back and get some good results here. Like it is within the realm of possibility.
Also, if you are a new team here, obviously you want to continue that momentum. You want to take that, half decent performance on product, and you want to continue that and take home the full 6 points tonight. That being said, teams are going to be rolling out, and they're going to be making their way to mid. So let's see how this first fight is going to go. It looks like QB is slightly faster at 2 mid, and Bonkers is already below, drawing a little bit of attention, but ultimately not much is going to come of that just yet. He might finally go up the drop down, and nobody on new team is available to really look at him, so he's going to finally kill the med. It took a little bit, but he's gonna be able to do that as more frags come in from his team as well. But they do lose Graba at the end of it, so ultimately it's not as great of a mid as it could have been, but at least they win it.
Yeah, and I think we have a scout and a soldier behind lines. Yeah, Charlie, he was stuck in behind, so he eventually goes in. So now we have Juno up top here. He's very healthy. You can see he wants to just intercept this medic, but he's going to find a soldier instead. It was like half health. He had no health at all. The 2 scouts eventually going to clean him up. So didn't find the target that he wanted, but he did find a target. So he's going to pay for himself, so to speak, and make sure that there's going to be no soldier in that fight. Oh, this is a bit of a stalemate situation. There's a slight advantage on new team. This is probably not big enough to push on. Like, you'd really have to just spot Grabber right around the corner as you reach 100%, and then you could push on it. But other than that, I don't think so. It might even be worth sending Juno back to go sniper or something here, just to make it easier for you to get a pick. But yeah, probably more up to KRITZBERG to see how they want to play this. Are they going to send in a scout behind, or are they just going to send in some soldiers who choke? There's a lot of options here, and you can kind of gauge a lot of a team's playstyle by the way in which they choose to break this.
Yeah, as it looks like right now, they are being rather passive. I guess they probably expected that Uber advantage to be a little bit larger, and now that they have their own, they're finally starting to spread out a little bit more and preak and prod forward a little bit more. But nobody's really on big door duty at all. It's just Beavern looking over there every once in a while, and they lose 3 players in choke. I don't even know what happens.
Yeah, they tried to jump in the soldier through the choke, and he didn't get too much done. I don't know how everyone else died though. Like, how did they lose Stan and Paparazzi?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was not looking at choke for like a second, because I was like, there's no way they're gonna move off of this immediately and lose 3 players instantaneously. Apparently, that is what happened, so they're gonna be having to hold on a second here, and they actually pop out their Uber as well. I don't know if Graba got forced there, or if he just had to use it early.
Oh no, QB! What have you done?
No.
He just jumps in with like 10 HP and just get immediately destroyed. That was a bit of a weird decision there. I think he was just expecting Uber to stay on him, but Charlie was around as well. Needed to be saved, so that's not going to be that. So there was looking to be a really strong fight there for new team until QB just decided to go into the skybox and the loving arms of these scouts just waiting for him. And Scout's going to just move in onto this medic. That was very optimistic play there from Paparazzi. Gets nothing out of it except a bit of a respawn queue to keep himself occupied. But that's going to be that. Uber's completely even, but the pressure is on.
The pressure is definitely on. New team soldiers are both bombing in, but they haven't dealt much except for some damage. Uni also goes under in water, and nobody's watching there. Matter of fact, nobody's even behind on last, so he could just run onto the point right now. Okay, no. People are coming back a little bit. Beavern is gonna go check, and he's gonna meet him and go for the 1v1 here. And even if he loses, Bonkers is around to help him out, so Uni should have probably moved a lot sooner there. I feel like he could have actually gotten the back cap if he had moved a little bit sooner. Obviously, he didn't know whether people were still around, but
yeah, perfect information would be nice.
That could have been a round-winning play right there. That being said, he's gonna be in the respawn queue as the rest of his team are forced to back off a little bit.
Got a wrap play. They're just going to go in through a choke, but there's a soldier up top that he hadn't spotted, and he is doing so much damage. Wow, really great job there by Bonkers, but they actually have managed to get their way onto the point, and they got enough players down that they're not really going to be able to contest it, not until the demo man gets in here though. Stan very aggressively taking this fight, doing all the damage though. Look at that.
Yeah, a lot of damage onto the combo there as well, basically forcing Hove to use onto QB just to be able to escort him out of the point here, dropping Uni in the process. So they're going to be able to get back out of the mid. Stan is just forward, hitting pipes. He's still alive too? I don't understand how this is possible, but this team is going to follow up on that damage, and that's going to be 3 frags for them. Easy,
oh my God. Graba's just surfing as well. Getting away from that soldier there. Charlie trying his damn best to hit him. Could not do it. A really great job there. I don't know, I feel like Stan got like bounced in by a sticky or something. Like that was so aggressive.
Yeah.
It was very, very aggressive, and then Garaba was almost just left alone, but he managed to do some really nice serves to avoid being killed here. So Garaba, once again, we saw it already, but lots of nice serve. This Soldier and Victor Scar gets the kill, wins the 1v1 duel with the Demo Man there. He actually gets 2 kills. That's probably going to shut things down if there's even a backcap going on.
Yeah, Flick was in behind very, very deep. Goes for the 1v1 ultimate lose against Beavern, but the backcap is enough to draw back these KRITZBERG players, and having lost Stan and also everybody being so dangerously low, they're gonna have to give up all the ground they could have had on second here. At least for a little bit. Now they're gonna move forward through Big Door again as new team have just backed out into lobby. They're gonna wait for their Uber to come around, considering that Garaba has that advantage speaking for him, so we're gonna see potentially KRITZBERG going for a last push here. If they're fast enough, they could have caught out Jorge, but he's so far back, that's not gonna happen, and we're gonna find ourselves at potentially a stalemate here now. Never mind, they're just gonna use it immediately through lower and find QB immediately. That's a decent pick to get before the Uber comes out. So Jorge is only gonna have to scout here. Yeah,
before the Uber even ends. That's so important because that means they can now just aggress in here. Medic just getting pumped up against the wall, taken down. Scout pressure on the point, really well done there. Just the fact that the Jorge dropped those 2 players in the Uber just completely opened everything up. And Stan just going huge. That's going to be KRITZBERG for defense. Going up for the first time in this game. 1-0 on this first map.
It's a very, very clean last push as well. I loved watching it. It was very nice. Let's see if they can continue rolling this forward or if new team will find their footing onto Gully Wash now in their second mid here. Scar deep immediately onto the demo, but he just doesn't manage to get Stan down. So that's a soldier out of the equation immediately. Charlie's going to try to get onto Garaba himself. Gets the 1 rocket, gets the second one with some follow-up by his scout friends. And that's going to be only Jorge alive for new team.
He's being chased.
He's being hunted by at least 3 people right now. Beavern is going to be the first one to meet him.
And
Bonkers is going to be the second, and yeah, there you go. Alright. They got him finally. That late death is actually going to buy Garaba a decent advantage here as well.
Yeah, well
if he finds anybody to heal.
That was very smart, Beavern, missing all those shots. Well done. Well done. That was all intentional.
It was all calculated. It was all calculated.
You don't even doubt it. So now Garaba's going to have this Uber advantage. I don't think he knew in time to go for crits or anything like that. No, it's just an Uber. It's fine. They're going to see if they can make their way in through this choke very aggressively, but Charlie's waiting for them, doing a ton of damage.
But he's not getting any kills just yet. Only Stan going down to effectively the cleanup by QB, and he's still in as well. Hoping that somebody had gone elbow, unfortunately not. So he's just going to be waiting on mid for the rest of his team to arrive, and they're going to retake mid for new team as Garaba is just going to build on second, try to maintain that Uber advantage ever so slightly. With Bonkers and Beavern both behind, this could be an interesting situation to look at here, though.
So I don't think they know.
They don't know.
Oh, there they go. There they go.
Oh, they get him. Very nice. Okay. I was about to say, unfortunately they don't get him because I saw Beavern getting swamped by 3 players, but he does hit the crucial shot. And that's going to be... Okay, they do get Charlie with it. And they do get Scar at the end of it as well as Wansu.
It's working.
Oh my god.
Just 2 scouts barreling into last. There's going to be 2 spawners coming out, a soldier and a scout. They should be able to buy enough time here for it to not just fall immediately, but that was a great back cap there. You know, the Uber came in immediately in through choke, and just somehow everyone from new team just managed to just rotate around and make their way around them. Scar is not going to play spy. He was just checking for off classes now. And Ubers are pretty even here, so pushing out is going to be very difficult. And new team, we just saw that they don't respect like small Uber advantages. Like as long as you don't actually have Uber, they don't care. They're just going to keep on holding the chokes. So I don't think this push is going to really do much here out of KRITZBERG.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it amounts to much, but maybe they're going to get a very lucky pick somehow. Some player is way too overextended. And, or they're going to lose Paparazzi. Okay, yeah, my man was feeling the burn there for a little bit. I was feeling the heat. So, yeah, new team are going to now make their way forward. At least QB's going to make his way forward into lobby. The rest of his team soon to follow, I would imagine. As, we're going to look at KRITZBERG trying to hold on to their loss here. Paparazzi is actually going to go onto the defensive sniper and look down river a bit. See if he can maybe get a cheeky shot off. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen as the entire team barrels down that hallway.
They're just going to take Riverside right now. I think they're trying to send someone into water just to try
Desperately. Look at how much spam. Oh my god. Well, that's not going to be QB, that's for sure. He's taken down by a nice headshot. And it's going to be Scar that's actually in secret right now.
Oh, he actually had an opening onto the medic. He didn't realize, though. So he's just going to try his best to get out. And it's going to be very difficult. And he has somehow slid his way out so far, but there's a soldier waiting. Oh my god. Gets the air shot. Oh, didn't get the double. But he gets the kill, though.
Yeah, at least he gets that. So new team are going to be able to actually hang on to this, even though they lose their demo in what is a disastrous attempt there. They're going to be able to re-aggress almost immediately. Charlie's going to go down very early, though, and there's a headshot onto from Paparazzi as well onto Scar, who's bombing in and not really finding much beyond a little bit of damage onto Scouts. So, yeah, KRITZBERG are holding on really well here, just dealing with these sacks and dealing with these straggling players very well, and it's working out decently for them so far. Gonna rotate out through Big Door here, see if they can take second this way. Obviously, they're gonna try to go for the exchange here. The Ubers come out immediately from both teams at the same time, and they're gonna be staring each other down for a while. The post-Uber play is really where it gets interesting here. They do lose Flick right away on the side of new team, and the second scout as well, so no scouts, no denying of any sort of bombing. Stan is not gonna take that for a second and immediately jump in. Get juggled by Charlie, though.
They actually take this fight with no scout. That's kind of ballsy. They really trust their soldiers to do work right now, and yeah, that was a bit too brave, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's just going in there. It's just lack of respect, especially when you're down two here. It's like, yeah, Beamer's going to see if he can catch anyone off guard there. Oh no, that was Paparazzi, my bad. But yeah, not going to be able to catch anyone. But new team, off of that aggression, they're going to lose mid. And they don't have Uber yet. They have the slightest of slight advantages here, like 10%. But I don't think they're going to be able to push much on it here unless like Grabber just decides to jump into choke, which I doubt. But that's going to be how that happens. So now we're in this. Yeah, now we're in this stalemate situation again, and so far, KRITZBERG, they've been really focused on doing things in choke, and it has really not worked out for them. They just like lose 3 players somehow every time they try to bomb in a single soldier.
And Charlie's gonna, he's gonna prod forward a little bit, gonna try to go down, drop down. Obviously, someone's looking at that. These are Prem players after all. They don't just like not look at flanks usually. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because they don't really seem to want to switch up their stalemate approach here much on the side of KRITZBERG. And with Uni on the sniper now, he's going to be trying to get a little bit of an angle out of Big Door. Potentially get a nice frag here to just open it up wide for his team. It looks like KRITZBERG are aware.
Big Door right now.
They've rotated around a bit.
It's just literally Charlie holding choke alone. Everyone else is just in Big Door right now. Very heavy rotation, and if they actually knew that on KRITZBERG, they would probably have exploited heavily, but hey, they don't have perfect information. So I kind of like these things where you sort of over-rotate, right? Because your opponents don't know. As Sky, he tries to make his way in there while everyone else was just preoccupied, but yeah, not as preoccupied as he thought. He just gets taken down. So now they're down a player, and they have a sniper as well. And the sniper cannot hold everything on its own. There's this big sniper sideline, obviously, in Big Door, but once a single scout has made it through there and he's missed, then it's very open and abusable. But looks like they've weathered the storm, and now we're gonna be settling into another stalemate situation. And yeah, Unikeko, Juno, he's just gonna be sniping it from Big Door, just playing it safe, playing it calm. You know, they're down around, but there's still 16 minutes remaining, so yeah, don't panic.
Sure. It's not something to get upset over or worked up over whatsoever. They have plenty of time to work with here, and I'm gonna want to try to make some plays happen. They just really want to make some space for their sniper here right now, see if he can get a shot off. He gets a shot onto bunkers, and actually they Uber in from the side of KRITZBERG, so it's gonna be an exchange happening. Slightly better Uber for Hohe here, but he's gonna have to try to run out, and he's getting body blocked a little bit. Charlie's gets caught in, and so does Stan. Grabba's also getting taken down, so no heals for KRITZBERG as they just try to run in. Uni's gonna get a nice headshot onto Wanzu as the fadeaway, and it's very messy, but ultimately Beavern and Bonkers live, and one of them is gonna cap second.
Yeah, you can kind of see that QB, he wants to go out here and try to contest it, but you can just hear his medic go, no, don't do it, I want to live. right? Because he's just going to get killed immediately if he tries to move out. And Bonkers is just holding big door. You can see Charlie's actually, he's onto this demo man.
Ooh.
He has not seen him at all. Tons of damage, and this push-out is actually looking pretty
Oh my
promising
god.
for Jorge.
He goes down, and that is going to be crucial for KRITZBERG here. If they can keep Graba alive, which they went very close to not doing, by the way, but they do keep him alive, so that's going to be a huge add for him. They have Paparazzi on the sniper as well, so they're going to try to open up last with that, potentially. And I would not be surprised to see them take lobby here very shortly, as, yeah, new team are just completely prepared for this last hold. They're bunkering up with the Sentry, with the Pyro. They're going to try to make the most of this disadvantage that they have.
Yeah, Paparazzi probably not feeling the sniper right now. He probably would have rather been on scout with this uber advantage push in here, but they're just going to move in with the demo man, and the scout immediately takes down the sentry gun. But the demo man is still in the water and need to uproot him at some point, but they're definitely getting some really good kills so far.
Definitely. Paparazzi's actually going to defend himself against Charlie very nicely as well, so yeah, even the sniper lived in this push.
Yeah, he even got jumped and everything, and he just somehow lived.
Clean one.
Yeah, very clean. And KRITZBERG now they're up 2-0. This is actually very, very good. You know, like being up 1-0 with 16 minutes remaining, that doesn't really mean anything. But being up with 2 minutes, or up with 2 points with like 13 minutes remaining, that does mean something. You can really slow down the game at that point.
And you can really control it as well. And getting up 2 rounds, you're gonna have to have some quick ones. Now Charlie's gonna try to go for Stanigan on the mid this time around. He actually manages to get it, so that's gonna be an early demo pick for new team, but they're gonna lose their own demo to Bonkers as well. So it's an equal trades dealt with so far, as the scouts now finally get taken down. Scar as well. It's looking like a good mid for KRITZBERG. At least new team hang onto their mid for the time being, who is getting chased, but they can't hunt him down forever. And now they're going to have to just contest and accept that that is not something that is in their cards today. They're going to have to settle for big door and potentially a push into second tier from below. Yeah, once it's in immediately.
Yeah, it gets body blocked pretty heavily here. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, if I was in this situation as KRITZBERG, I would just be super lame. Just play passive in big door. Look at that. Charlie actually wins the soldier duel. Back in the old days, he would have just exploded along with the other soldier there. So soldier duels have actually kind of changed, because you can just like shoot him and not die.
Oh, Uber comes out for big door, and they're actually going to just wrap around for the back cap here. I mean, it's going to work, because they're going to have to pull back the new team players. Jorge's going to have to use his own Uber to protect this point, and if they can kite this well enough, then they can very well hang on to the little bit of distraction that they've made here. Both scouts for new team trying to chase out these players, but they're just not dealing enough damage or cleaning up enough damage, as finally some players are dying, but on both sides, and Jorge is dead, so no heals for new team mean that they're going to be really careful here. They do get a couple of kills on mid as well, and Graba's going to pick up one for himself.
It's a demo and a medic against the world. These two soldiers, they want it. Oh, they actually get it. Wow.
They're going to just, yeah, Graba's just going to leave Stan behind and save his own life. Probably the better choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's what they all wanted. They wanted to kill Graba really badly there, but Graba makes the good decision. Doesn't, like, tie his life to the demo man's there. He just gets out of it. And now new team, they hold on to mid here. They really do need this, but they are at an uber disadvantage, which is a very annoying situation for them. And like, hopefully they can really force this uber out early and then just retreat and then retake mid. Something like that is what they're hoping for. But at the same time, I really wouldn't be upset here if Graba just decides that it's not worth to push on, but he does not seem to share my opinion on that. They just jump in QB super aggressively, and they almost get him down. They actually do get down QB. Really aggressive jumper.
That's it. That's all they got. So now Jorge has his own Uber. They actually do lose Scar as well, but Stan goes down, so defending this midpoint is going to be a lot harder that they didn't even cap yet for that matter. So new team are actually going to be able to re-aggress here pretty well. Once it's going to bomb in, he's actually going to force Jorge with that as well. Bonkers is still in behind too. So this could be, this is still in the books for KRITZBERG. This is very much stuff they could still do. Okay, they do lose Bonkers. And again, now they have a 50% ad effectively, as Jorge's Uber was completely wasted.
Really great job there by new team. Just they kept track of everyone who was behind lines, making sure they didn't do too much damage, and then you just focus fire in front really well. Really good job. Stan's so aggressive, but look at this. Ooh, that flank from Charlie was so big. Just gets in there, takes down Grabber. Maybe even, yeah, Stan died as well.
Ooh.
Oh my god,
Paparazzi just runs through and just, oh, he's getting more credits. Okay,
oh
okay,
my god,
okay.
that's a 4 or 5k. That's insane. You just killed everyone.
He just cleaned up all that damage, gets the med, gets everybody. That's a tank and scout player right there.
Yeah,
He
Stan
just
just
came
goes,
in
what
with the
happened?
clutch.
I think Stan just like drank some water, and then we looked back up, everyone was just dead. It was like, okay, I guess Paparazzi just killed everyone. That was insane.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's gonna be good enough for KRITZBERG to take it back into mid here as well. As a new team is just scrambling all over the place, but they do lose Grabba, so no heals for KRITZBERG here. There's just gonna be a bit of DM, and they're in the worst positions ultimately. New team do find their footing on mid, and it's gonna be Wansu actually in behind. He's gonna jump onto the med. Can he get onto... Okay, no, there's too many players in between him and the medic. So, off the back of that, it looks like new team will still take second here.
I think that one rocket did like 300 damage, but just spread out over everyone. Everyone was just a bunch up, and they were all in front of the medic. So they did their job. Now we're going to see Jorge with this full Uber advantage. They need to make this work. Demo scouting immediately. There's a Pyro trying to hold him back. Sentry on only level 1. It is dead immediately. Beeman's still alive somehow, but he's probably going to get picked off. Probably, right?
Finally.
Yeah, there we go, eventually. But now you have this fully up tank buffed heavy. Just there's no way they're ever going to chew it back through him, and that's an opportunity missed for sure. Jorge's going to just limp his way out. Link back up here with QB, and now all of a sudden, this is looking so difficult for them.
Yeah, Wansu's even gonna like to chase them out even more as just now respawners arrive for new teams. So they're gonna maybe re-aggress for choke here, try to contest this point as best as they can. But KRITZBERG is also there to try and contest it just as well. Wansu's gonna get a nice rocket onto Jorge, but not follow it up because he dies. Beavern also taken down, so it's looking good for new teams so far in this fight. They're gonna actually have the Uber out of KRITZBERG, so they're gonna chase that fruit choke. 2 kills for Paparazzi already. Can he get a fruit onto Scar? No, he's going to settle for running back and helping out his team who have lost a few players, and they don't want to get back up by Charlie, so that's fair.
Yeah, good job by Charlie. That pulled back, I think, literally everyone. Yeah, there's like a single scout outside, but even he ran back, I think. So now there's going to be an opportunity for everyone to come back in here. There's a scout on soldier duel. Usually that favors the scout. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Almost getting Paparazzi to just rush down there with the stick. But he just dies fairly before that can become a reality. But the mid should be something that they can actually hold right now. And unless the Poles just go through super aggressively, which they actually are, just murders Charlie immediately. And Jorge is actually kind of weak, so there's no way he can stay in there. Paparazzi will get taken down by a sticky trap. But really great aggression coming out here right now for KRITZBERG. They are feeling themselves. This is one hell of a comeback because they were just getting slaughtered on that first map on Viaduct. But now all of a sudden, they are the one in charge.
They're looking very dominant so far, and with 7 minutes left, suddenly, new team are going to be feeling a lot of heat now. They really have to pick up the pace if they want to equalize the scoreline and take home at least some points tonight. Some points on this map, I mean, because it's going to be looking very rough for them otherwise. Every minute that KRITZBERG can now shave off the clock is going to be extraordinarily in their favor. It's exponentially more useful to them than it is to new team. So new team really have to make a move here, and with the equal Uber situation, they have to break the stalemate too, which is going to be very tough from a defending position here.
Yeah, they like pushing from second into mid is one of the most difficult things to push here on Gully Wash. Very, very difficult. Like you're at a height disadvantage, or you have to go through a tiny choke. Charlie's going to do his best to get onto Grabber, but he is just standing safely in that corner right now. There's no way. You can kind of tell, right? Look how just absolutely content they are to just sit back. But actually, Paparazzi's going to go down here, so now new team can actually potentially do a bunch of aggression.
Yeah, they open up a little bit of space in choke here for QB to just peek in. Finally, he gets, pressured back enough to at least have to heal up for a while. But KRITZBERG are doing a great job of just locking down this choke, and with Scar and Uni trying to make some plays onto Big Door, but they're just not able to push out enough. And everybody in KRITZBERG being so passive and, safe with where they stand and where they hold right now. It's really, really hard for new team to make something happen, and they lose Charlie now in choke. The Uber comes out of Jorge as well, so they do pick up Stan. But is that going to be enough? I mean,
no, KRITZBERG have actually just split up so much. Yeah, now Bunker goes down. I think he was just thinking they were going to go through Big Door. So they have this full Uber advantage, but they're actually a man down on mid. And Like, if I was them at this point, I think I would just stand on mid and just let yourself lose Uber advantage. I think that's the safer play. They kind of messed that up quite a bit there in KRITZBERG, but I mean, at least Grava is still alive with a full Uber.
That's the very important thing here, because again, now it's 5 minutes left. New team, they want to put out some quick rounds here. They want to make something happen, and KRITZBERG are just in choke. They are so aggressive in choke. They really want to get through here just to put even more pressure onto new team, just to, make their life even harder. They're gonna send in Scar, but he's not gonna be able to meet anybody, and 3 players down now. Uni's gonna pick up Beavern, but is that gonna be enough? Is that a crucial enough pick in this situation? I don't think it is. Lonzo's gonna go down as well.
Going down. That's it.
Oh,
that's so
that's
important.
That's a nail. That's if not the final, maybe the penultimate nail in the coffin. At least for this round, because now new team have to hold a miraculous last hold here against a full Uber, and then perform a coast-to-coast, followed by a very quick round. So let's see if they can try to hold on to this point here, or if KRITZBERG extend their lead into a 3-0 here even more. We're gonna have to see.
Even not pushing on this Uber advantage and losing it is fine. Like, they have been pushing on every Uber advantage, so I don't think that they're going to do that. I think they're actually going to push, but they're just getting everyone back in here, making sure that they're buffed. Currently, the soldiers have no heals, so I think they just want to buff those guys up. See Scar and Spy right now. I really like this. Just do his best. He's, just going as fast as he can, and then he's going to get taken down.
Very eager, but a little too eager, and the Uber is going to come out of the combo for KRITZBERG here, but they only really find the Sentry. That's all they're going to accomplish with it. No frags going either way besides that, so very, very strong hold here, obviously, by new team, and now they have their own Uber to try to respond and push out with here. This is where the coast-to-coast has to start, otherwise.
And Beaver, they're both on last.
Oh, no. And nobody on new team stayed behind either.
Oh, my God.
It's only Scar who's even remotely close, and yeah, that's going to be an easy, quick round for them to pick up here, making it 3-0. KRITZBERG looking dominant, and this might just actually be the final nail, because 3 minutes for 3 rounds is very unlikely.
Looking back, losing their medic there, I think that was like the proverbial nail in the coffin, whereas now it's like actually, but that was the actual nail in the coffin. It's actually impossible now for them to lose. So great job by KRITZBERG. I don't think they're going to stop playing here. They want to cement their domination and celebrate these 3 points with some good play as well.
Absolutely. Here. You might even get some nice little clips for frag videos that people love to make. We'll have to see it. So looking like a dominant mid thus far, that's for sure. Only Uni left, and he's gonna, maybe get a single frag onto a scout here. And that's about it. Maybe. Can't even kill Beaver in there. He's just gonna have to run away. As KRITZBERG just keeps rolling forward. They're called KRITZBERG for defense, but they're certainly very aggressive right now. Taking it into lobby immediately. Grava's just so far forward already. Nobody to even heal for the most part. Look, is gonna come in to try and catch somebody out, but new team, they can't do that much. Ultimately,
Paparazzi just want to solo the entire enemy team.
Let him do it.
Get him, feed him.
Let him feed his strange weapons. I don't know. Probably has. I mean, he's got an Aussie scattered. That's definitely a strange one.
Yeah, there's no way.
They might just do a 4-0 here. Okay, yeah. That's a quick one.
Wow, they might even get a 5-0. That would be very surprising if they actually do that. It really feels like they're just broken new team. Like, new team, they were looking so good. We were both expecting them to win, and then they just come in here on this map and just completely dominates them. KRITZBERG, very impressive play from them. Maybe I've underestimated them heavily. I think I rated them as like 7th in the season or something in my power rankings. So, very impressive. Shows how dumb I am.
Maybe you could just say maybe it's just Gully Wash. Maybe it's not their map. Who knows? We'll see next week, I suppose. We'll see next week, I suppose. But for the time being, we're going to see our last mid here unfold as, again, it is definitely falling in favor of KRITZBERG for the time being. Flick is still in, but he's not going to be able to go for much of a play here on this. Oh, what a fight by Stan. Lovely.
Nice.
You'll love to see that.
Flick is not happy about it. Good time. Meanwhile, Q is just sitting in spawn. So, no more deaths on his logs. That's good. Alright. You know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I've been drinking so much water, so be right back. I'll be back for the logs.
Right, yeah, so that's gonna be KRITZBERG taking home Gully Wash. Maybe they'll be able to cement a final 5th round here, just to make it look like it was a complete steamroll, even though the first half of the map was pretty slow. New team they're not even gonna try to contest it much. They're gonna just let it happen. That's gonna be a 5-0 for KRITZBERG. Very dominant performance on Gully Wash here, especially in the second half. GG's, no re, at least for the time being. What a matchup. I don't know if there's even much to glean from the logs, considering how dominant they actually were. Let me pull them up real quick. Naturally, there it is. Yeah, they tell you a story of a team that was very dominant over the other, and suddenly, Graba didn't have double the deaths of his compadre counterpart on the enemy team, so that's a good start. So let's have a look. Have a look at what we have here. I mean, yeah, it just shows KRITZBERG putting on a dominating performance on Gully Wash. Just absolutely really driving it home. The kills very much in your favor. 37 frags on Paparazzi. My man was actually just going ham on new team, especially in some of those Ubers. It was some of them weren't even Ubers. Sometimes it was just like a random fight, and he just gets 4 kills randomly. My man was really turned up. I feel like what shows here is that how KRITZBERG just either it's just that product is not their map, and or that it is really just a showing of how much time they maybe took to warm up. Maybe they just really took time to warm up, and once they're warmed up, once they got the gears turning and the machine greased, you can see how well they work together and how Paparazzi gets 37 kills. My lord!
Wow. Yeah, that 5k from him was insane as well. It was blink and you miss it kind of moment. Just +4 into the entire enemy team and it worked.
It shows. I mean, what is there to talk about other than that? Just dominating, more kills, more damage. Stands going huge again, 301 DPM. Even though Charlie also put on a lot of damage,
Yeah,
considering his role.
yeah, he did pretty well. I feel like just the fact that the medic stats have been flipped with the deaths.
Yeah.
Is really telling. Like this time around, just this grabber doing a great job of staying alive. All those serfs were just immaculate. So great job. That was one hell of a turnaround.
Yeah, definitely. It really, to me, all I could say to that, like as an analysis, is KRITZBERG just took time to get warmed up. Maybe they didn't have enough time to prepare for product or something like that. They took some time to really get warmed up, but you're gonna be taking home 3 more points here. And new team, at least, gonna be taking home some points, the first points this season. And they put on, a good fight against an evenly matched team.
Yeah, they won the first map pretty convincingly, and then lost the second map kind of equally convincingly. So just 2 teams having 2 good maps, and they were just unfortunate to face each other while the other team was just fragging out, I guess. It's kind of weird how it goes sometimes, but yeah, now they're on the scoreboard. It was definitely a rough welcome to Prem for new team, as they played Ascent and Swift, arguably the 2 best team in Prem in the first 2 weeks, and now they get KRITZBERG here, and yeah, it was a good game, and I think they're happy about that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be upset even if, I was on new team's side here getting effectively rolled on Gully Wash. They still put on a decent fight. And I mean, it took KRITZBERG, even on Gully Wash, it took them a decent time to get rolling. The first round was like 14 minutes or something like that. It was pretty long. So, yeah, it they definitely put up a decent fight for the longest time. And they can head into this, maybe, learn a bit more on Gully Wash. I don't know who they're actually facing next week. I'd have to check. They're
Yeah,
facing
like
Faint. Okay.
Faint. Okay, so that's that's a very good team as well. But I really, it was basically 2-0, right? And then they pushed out very aggressively, and they didn't check water, and then they got back capped, and then that was when it was over, right? So it's like 2-3-0, kind of accurate way of seeing this map, and then they just lost the last one. I don't think they cared on those mids really. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not the new team can actually make it into the playoffs here. They kind of lost 3 points here that they really needed. So it's going to be very interesting. I think we're not going to really have an idea until week 6 when new team are going to play against Bus Crew.
Probably, yeah. And if you're KRITZBERG here as well, next week you're going up against Global Clan, so you have another opportunity to pick up a nice amount of points there. If
Yeah,
they're really cementing themselves as like the best out of the bottom four teams right now, they should probably have little trouble with Global Clan as well. So they might actually be the team that you would anticipate it to be the playoffs, contender here.
yeah, I could be
Maybe in the
wrong.
end they're gonna be the ones.
Not happy to admit it, but I could be wrong,
We'll have to see.
Absolutely. All right. I don't think we're getting we're doing interviews much this season,
No,
so I think we should just do some shout outs. I know there's is it the DreamHack Community Clash? Did I get the name right, Arch?
you did
I
indeed.
I got it right. Fantastic. I believe that's coming up this is it this week or
Next
weekend?
weekend.
Next
Next week
weekend.
weekend.
All right. So definitely make sure you sign up for that. I don't know how many teams have signed up yet, but there is a limited amount of spots open. So if you don't sign up now, you might just miss out entirely. And there's like an actual prize pool. And it's going to be a really cool tournament to play in. You don't want to miss it. So make sure that you do that.
Yeah. I've got nothing more to add other than, more matches next week. Look forward to that. And I think that's going to be it for us, really. Thanks
Yeah,
for watching.
I will
Thanks for the
add
teams.
this before we go.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I
Of
want to
course.
shout out my demo call on ETF2L's website. I'm putting it in chat. Definitely submit your cool frags from that. All right, so if you're looking at these prem games going like, oh man, these guys aren't hitting any cool shots like me, well, good news, you can just submit them to this demo call. I'll put you in a video. It'll be great. Yeah. Other than that, from me, Surny, and ArchRhythm, really nice games. Have a good night, everyone. It's been a lot of fun, Surny, as always. Always a good time. And yeah, we'll see you guys whenever they decide to play their next games. Probably all on Thursday.
Yeah.